Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Tarot, where, as you can tell from my nice fancy little bubble letters here, this is for the hashtag deck crush that's been going around on YouTube lately. Now, most people begin with this is a video response to so and so and so and so, but I will admit I don't know exactly who those so and so's are, so I haven't done that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to share my choices for it. And you can see here, I've nicely used color pencils and stuff to write out the names. You got the Fling up here, Puppy Love, Friends with Benefits, Love at First Sight. This one says One Night Stand. You can't really read it because I made the mistake of using yellow, and yellow never wants to really appear on white, but there it is nonetheless. One Night Stand, We Were on a Break, Marriage Material, Happily Ever After, and the featured deck. Now this will just be a quick look at the decks that I've chosen out of my collection for this, and it was a little bit difficult because I pride myself on being a deck collector. I absolutely love collecting tarot decks, so this might change in a couple months of what I choose and what I don't. So we'll call this the Deck Crush 2023 because these are decks I choose in the first section of 2023 to feature for this. So we'll start with the Fling and we'll move on from there. I might as well begin by saying I have a terrible memory, and so going these in order and knowing what the different meanings and stuff were, I just found it easier to put a little post-it and write the words on it. So if you can see it here, it says the Fling, and a deck with which you've had a short period of wild times. Now you can tell here that I've chosen the Thoth Tarot, or Thoth Tarot by Ceccoli and Lady Frida Harris for this one, because this deck, as much as I love it, is kind of a Fling deck for me because I don't use it all that often, but when I do, just the meanings of the cards and the cards that come up are definitely really has that passion and that fire in it. And I definitely enjoy this deck, but it's a little bit more difficult to read with. I don't know, the illustrations and the names and stuff, they're a little bit more difficult. I would not recommend this deck for a beginner necessarily, but it's definitely one if you're a collector like me that you want to put in it. This is one of my particular favorite illustrations of death. It does show the skeleton and stuff, so you can see in the colors and stuff. It's beautiful. It kind of shows there's beginnings and your creativity can really reign when you let what no longer serves you to come to an end. So that's a really good card as well. And like I said, it definitely connects with that energy of the Fling, and it shows short amount of time of wild times. And using this deck, Aleister Crowley is considered the most wickedest, I think are the words, or the wickedest, most evil man ever in history, or at least in the 20th century. So there is kind of wild times with this deck, but the illustrations themselves are absolutely gorgeous. It's not my absolute favorite. Does not mean that I don't love it. I definitely do. I definitely have a fling with this deck. I love the interesting things about the occult. I love the secrets that come with it. I love knowing things I'm not supposed to, that kind of thing. So this deck definitely connects to that. And I've gone this far with the deck, so we'll just keep doing this so you can see the different illustrations. I have them in no particular order. I just took them off the shelf. That is the universal hexagram, not an actual card, but I love keeping this in the deck because I think it really shows the beauty of masculine and feminine coming together. Because we can think of this as the masculine image, and the little flower in the middle is the feminine energy pushing it forward. So behind every action is the thought process behind it. And I've even heard the saying, behind every successful man is a woman nagging him on. So I love that illustration. It's definitely in there for me. And we have the universe as the world. We've got the different illustrations here. So definitely a Fling deck. You can see the star there's reversed and the Empress, so I'm not really using my real talents and not creating anything, so that kind of gave me that thought. And there's the Eon or the Aeon as Judgment as well. So beautiful deck, definitely gives you some wild times, or gives me some wild times as well. Colors are absolutely gorgeous, and definitely my choice for the Fling. My post-it has getting unsticky, and it doesn't really want to stick to the tablecloth here. So we'll move on to the next one. Next one down the list is Puppy Love, and you can see here where it says, a deck with which you were infatuated but couldn't make a long-term commitment to. Now, I do technically have a different deck for this, but the whole couldn't make a connection with. Obviously, I don't have that one in my collection anymore, and it was the Hanson Roberts Tarot. It was a gift from someone, and while I greatly did appreciate it, and the artwork was really pretty, there's something about illustrations from the 80s that just freak me out. So those He-Man illustrations and stuff, it just did not vibe with me, so that one's no longer in my collection. So instead, I'm sharing the Nicoletta Ceccoli Tarot with you. I still have this deck. I do like the illustrations a lot. And I will consider, like, this is a deck I was infatuated with for a while because the illustrations are just, they're beyond beautiful, but there's something very, just, I don't know, too feminine for me, just a little bit too strange. And the way that they're made, especially like the court cards, like here's a court card for you, and it shows like the wand up here, very easily seeing the wand there, and then down here you just have a helmet. So is this the queen or the king of wands? I'm not sure. So that's a little problem with this deck, that I think, like, I really wanted to like it, but like the lack of like the words on them and like the numbers and stuff like that, like unless you know or trust, like this is the moon card because you see like the moon up on the top and know your Roman numerals and what the major arcana is, you're not going to know which card that is, because like the majors there, you can see the X, you know that's the Wheel of Fortune if you know the tarot well enough. But some of these are just very difficult because there's another, like, is this the king or queen of cups? So definitely a deck that I was infatuated with for a while, but I have yet to make the long-term connection with it. You can see a lot of the illustrations in here are like reversed, so maybe I'm just holding the deck, nope, not holding the deck incorrectly, because they're like that. And so it kind of just shows, I feel like it doesn't really connect with me all that well either. There is a video already of this deck, like that's the unboxing video of it, so you can see all the illustrations there. But the illustrations, they're just, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love weird and strange and unique, but they might be a little bit too weird and strange and unique for me, and that's really saying something. But I'm not going to trade it, I'm not going to like sell it or anything. I do like this deck. I use all my decks in rotation so everyone gets a fair chance to speak, so this one is no different. But I definitely would not put this one in my top favorites. And all those reversals there, I really feel it's like, hey, we wouldn't put you in our top favorites either. So there is that energy about it. But just, it's a little bit difficult to read. It's a little bit just, I don't know, strange. I can't think of the right words. I don't know if, like, I probably do have the right words in my head, I'm just not willing to share them. Yeah, that's the card that's like on the front of the box. Clearly there's a wand and it's the Ace of Wands. But does the illustration really show passion and fire, or is it just a naked little girl holding a salamander against her? So salamanders do kind of connect with the wand suit, but again, there's like no real passion there. Nonetheless, the illustrations are beautiful. I will say that, like, the artwork is really well done, but I feel like it's a puppy love. I found it on sale online. I was definitely like jumped on the chance, because when they're like $10 off of what you usually see and they're having a big sale, that's when I really want to add them to my collection. So we'll get through all the cards, and you can see there's like the final thing of join the Tarot Association for a certain amount of money a month and learn something new. So we have that as well. Moving on, we have Friends with Benefits, and you can see there that I have the Dark Mansion Tarot for this one, and it says the deck you care about but sometimes get extremely passionate for. And yes, I could do this for Deviant Moon Tarot. Deviant Moon for all the loved ones could definitely be that one, but you know, that wouldn't be interesting that much because I just keep sharing the same deck and tell you how much I love the Deviant Moon, and we all like a little bit more variety than that though, right? So we're going to move that. I'll just move that to the side so I don't have to keep looking over and be like, wait a minute, what is this deck again? And here's the cards in it. Definitely great card stock. This deck is absolutely fantastic. It slid off there. The illustrations, there are none like this. This is from Taroteka Studios. I believe it comes from Poland, so it does take a little while to ship to the United States, but there is no illustrations like more just whimsical and fun to me than this deck right here, and it's definitely a Friends with Benefits deck. I will keep coming back to it time and time again. I love the illustrations. They speak on so many levels. Like I said, the card quality is amazing. It's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it is coming from Poland, so you should expect that. Definitely connects with the intuition, I feel. Really connects to the Rider-Waite-Smith illustrations as well. And it's just a downright, altogether, really wonderful deck. And as I'm going through the cards here and sharing them with you, in no particular order again, like seriously, that devil, that's my favorite devil card of all time. I love the fact that it's a woman. Like, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And again, like, some of the cards are reversed again, so I'm like flipping around for you. But it's a beautiful deck. Definitely Friends with Benefits. Death shows boredom. I mean, I've never seen another death card that really shows that boredom aspect, and it's like, this no longer serves you, let it die. So definitely connects with that. It just I can't get over how beautiful the illustrations in this deck are, and it's definitely one like I would recommend to anybody. Judgment, just the skeletons and stuff dancing to the beat of their own music in a garden at night. Kind of shows being fair to yourself, being a little crazy with the Fool. I could go on and on about this deck. Like, I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. Definitely my category for Friends with Benefits, a deck that I truly love, a deck I care about, and sometimes, like I'm doing this now, just flipping through the cards, it's a deck I really get passionate about. Just the illustrations, the colors, the quality. This deck is absolutely fantastic. And even the box itself is beautiful and like really well done, because this character doesn't show up anywhere in the deck. You could even consider her to be the High Priestess because she has all those cards in front of her, but it's you. She's looking at you. She's telling you you are the fortune teller in your life. You can answer the questions that you seek yourself, and it's, I'll be your friends with benefits. Like, even the backs are absolutely gorgeous. What I like to do at festivals and stuff when I do live readings is like put the decks out like side by side and have 3 different ones, and it's like choose the cards, the backs that call to you, and this deck is almost always the one people choose to have their readings done with, because I mean, who doesn't love that back? The galaxy and the clouds, it's just beautiful. So put that one away and we'll move on to the next one, which is the category of Love at First Sight, a deck you fell in love with from the start. Okay, story time about my favorite deck. I made my Instagram page about, I'd say, end of September, beginning of October 2018, and I had one deck, and it was the Healing Light Tarot. And I had that deck for a couple weeks when I started having like these dreams, and I don't remember my dreams very well, so this one was really, really specific, like really important for me to remember. I was with somebody else, and I told them I got a new tarot deck, like my first tarot deck, and they said, honey, you can't have just one tarot deck, you have to have more than that. So I got obsessed with it, but I could not find a deck I really vibe with until I started that Instagram page. And when I started learning the challenges and stuff that go on Instagram, like, you know, the tarot challenges, like a different question every day. And with October, there's always like these like face your fears challenges, and that's the first one I ever did, was like facing that fear challenge. And someone else that was hosting it, at the time, her name was, I think, Queen of Hearts Tarot, which since then, like, I don't think she's been on Instagram for a while. It's been a while. It's been 5 years since 2018, so she's moved on to better things probably, or more important things. I don't know. But she had this deck, and I had to message her immediately, like, what deck is this? Please tell me where I can buy it and everything, because I was in love with the illustrations instantly. So that love at first sight, definitely true. I fell absolutely in love, and I've told you that before. It's the Deviant Moon Tarot. Weird loud noise in the background was my dogs barking, so I've lost my train of thought. But getting back to where we were, Love at First Sight, the Deviant Moon Tarot, definitely takes that category. I showed you this before, but you can clearly tell this deck has seen some wear and tear. The box, at least, because I keep this deck with me wherever I go. It's my favorite one to get out when someone says, ooh, can you read the cards for me? Because the illustrations are just, there's nothing like it. It's the most insanely gorgeous deck I've ever seen in my life. And hands down my favorite, the one that I've loved as soon as I saw it, loved from the start, as soon as I had it in my hands. Like, this is the deck that I've dreamed about my entire life. Like, I love it. Patrick Valenza, seriously my favorite artist of all time. He's absolutely fantastic. But you can see here, like, this is just an example. I've showed this deck many times in my videos. There's a whole video about, like, my favorite tarot deck. It's down there in one of my beginning ones, so it's not that great. So this is like one of my favorite illustrations of the like Nine of Cups, like shows the wish card of it, the genie, and how shocked he is. But it's just, that was my background on my phone for a while. The characters in here, they're not exactly human, but they still have human aesthetics to them. It's just, it's fantastic. Like, there's Death, King of Pentacles, Strength, the Eight of Cups. You can definitely get an intuitive feeling to this deck. You can like learn it very easily. And hands down, love at first sight. I absolutely love this deck. Like, there's none above it, none below it. When it said love at first sight, I'm like, yep, that's the Deviant Moon. That's the deck I'm going to choose for this. There's Judgment. Nine of Cups on the top, Judgment on the top. You want to make all your wishes come true? Be fair to yourself and forgive the past. So that is my love at first sight deck. And we'll move on to the One Night Stand deck. So I'll put this one away. And we'll briefly talk about my One Night Stand deck. We've talked about it a little already in this video, but again, I don't have it in my collection because I didn't want it that much. I didn't enjoy it that much. Like, like I said, the Hanson Roberts Tarot, that is definitely the one that I feel like it says here, a deck you tried out but moved on from almost immediately. Sometimes you still think about that deck. Well, I'm thinking about it now because the question asked for it. But I did give that deck to my best friend who absolutely loved the illustrations, so it was really awesome to have it and be able to gift it to somebody and share it with somebody that really enjoyed it. So I don't have that deck to say. It was the miniature version of that deck too, so it wasn't like the big thing of it, but that doesn't really matter. The illustrations, again, I know I'm weird. The deck, the illustrations just freaked me out on that deck, so I tried to like it. I really did, but that was definitely a one night stand deck. I really did try to use it. I tried to like connect with it more. I shared it in my daily readings and stuff like that, but that deck and I just didn't vibe that well, so it went to somebody that definitely appreciates it. And that's what we do with our decks that we don't necessarily like love all that much. We give them to somebody else that really can show them the love and appreciation they deserve, because that's what it is about tarot in general and why you have so many different decks, because it's like someone's heart and passion went into this. And while we do appreciate a lot of it, some of them just we can't connect with or we don't enjoy that much, so they move on to other things. So that one night stand, Hanson Roberts, you still come up in my mind sometimes, and I hope where you are now with my best friend, you know, Liz, if she sees this, I hope you enjoy it. It definitely belongs with you. You are the beautiful light in the world, and this deck deserves that beautiful light. Moving on. We were on a break, and this category is a deck you're separated from for any reason. I'm no longer separated with this deck, so I have got them back. I never got rid of them. I never like gave them to anybody. It's just there's a particular aspect of them that I wasn't willing to work with for a while because my heart was broken about it. In February of 2022, February 1st to be exact, I had to take my familiar Luna to the vet because she wasn't eating, and you could just tell something was wrong. But that was the first time like she actually started acting like something was wrong. She was not a people cat. She did not want to be around people. She liked me and my husband, and that was it. And like a week before like we got the appointment, because the vet was full, so we couldn't take her in for a week, she went into the living room when everybody was in the living room and jumped up on the couch and let everybody pet her. So I knew right then that something was wrong with her, but something had been wrong with her for a while, and she didn't want anybody knowing. So as I talk about it, it still makes me really sad. But, you know, life goes on. Everything that lives has to die eventually. And Luna was put to sleep February 1st, 2022, because she had leukemia, like cat leukemia. So that was devastating for me. I still to this day, like, I'm breaking up when I talk about it. But, you know, the universe provides. The universe puts things in our lives again. And, you know, you've met Dash. Dash is the thumbnail for this video. So you know, your heart moves on. But talking about that and the deck that I separated from for any reason, that is the reason that I separated from not one but two different decks for a while. The Everyday Witch Tarot and the Tarot of Pagan Cats. Now the Tarot of the Pagan Cats, you can see it's one of those mini decks, and I really like the mini decks because they're small and they can go anywhere. But you can see right there from the bottom of the deck as well, or the backs of the cards, not the bottom of the decks. Every single illustration in this deck shows a cat or multiple cats. And when you lose your familiar, when you don't have your cat to spend with every day, it's really hard to be able to look at cats. Even online, like on social media and stuff, I couldn't stand to see cats even then. If I saw one on the street, I'd immediately like put my head down because it hurt so badly to see the different cats living. We have a cat that lives outside. She's a barn cat, and no, that's her choice. We tried to let her come in the house before, and she's not interested. She wants to live outside. She has her own little heated house. She's queen, and she's happy about it. She's about 18 years old now and still healthy as a horse. And there was this bitterness in me that I didn't even want to see her, because why did she get to live and my cat had to get cancer and die? So I was really upset about that. I did not touch these decks for months. I don't think I honestly touched these decks until, especially this one, I know I didn't touch this one until Dash came into my life, and I went and got this deck off the shelf, and I said, it's yours now. This is the deck, because it's tiny like her, because she's still a kitten, getting bigger every day. But I gave it to her, and the first card she ever picked from it was the 10 of Cups. So she told me, like, I found my family, you are my happy family, like, you complete me, and just I love our life together. So that definitely like meant a lot to me, and it made the pain of losing Luna like a little less, you know, strong. I still miss Luna to this day. Like, there is no cat like her. She was my familiar. She was my best friend. She just chilled beside me. I called her my secretary. I had her little chair beside me on the at the desk, and she'd just sleep in it. And every so often, she'd take her paw and she'd excuse me, she'd stick it on my leg and like, hey, I'm over here, pat me please. And that's as much as she'd do. Dash, on the other hand, is a little bit wilder, but she's a kitten, so it's to be expected. She'll just jump from the ground and leap onto my face and attack my face with her mouth. And, you know, that's like, hey, I want attention, I want to be petted, I want to attack you. This is the other deck that I took a break from for a short amount of time. By short, I mean about 6 months. And I'll go through it really fast with you as well. And again, it, like I said, it's the Everyday Witch Tarot. Illustrations on this deck are gorgeous, but you can see in many of the illustrations, which as I'm going through there, I'm not actually seeing any. But like here, you can see the cat playing with the runes. So Dash definitely plays with the runes. Luna would watch the runes. She didn't play with much. She was too mature for that. Two of Cups, we have the cat down there. We have the cat defending the character there. I believe, yeah, the cat's on his little sack right there. So this was a deck that was really hard to work with after I lost Luna as well, because, well, the illustrations all showed cats, and it's like they have their familiars, but I don't have mine. So it's really depressing deck to like work with at that time. But I didn't get rid of it. I still love the illustrations. I still wanted it in my collection because I knew one day my heart would heal, and I'd still want this deck. Because, you know, Everyday Witch, as a witch, you definitely connect with this deck. It's a beautiful deck, beautiful illustrations. The guidebook is incredible. It's one of the decks I believe I said was great for beginners, and it really is. Like, that's my favorite. My favorite yoga pose is the tree pose, and that's Temperance, and it connects to Sagittarius, and it's Sagittarius. Yeah, I really connect with that card. But there's a quick flip through of the Everyday Witch Tarot, which would be my We Are on Break deck, that I took a break from for a little while. Next, as I said, we have Marriage Material, and it's a deck that has proven its value to you. I have not had this deck very long, but I will tell you I am absolutely obsessed with it. I love it. It's the Phantom Wise Tarot by Erin Morgenstern, the author of The Night Circus, which if you're looking for a good book to read and you haven't found one yet, Night Circus. It's based in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's about two magicians dueling, a circus that only exists at night, and just, it's got romance, it's got action, you name it, it's got it. It's fantastic, just like the deck itself. And this deck has definitely proven its worth to me, despite the fact that I've only had it for a short amount of time. I believe about a month or so. You can see the cards here. The illustrations are on the back are absolutely gorgeous as well, and the cards themselves are gorgeous. I do believe I got this from Amazon, and I do believe this deck was used when I got it, and they've sold it as new, so I do have that to complain about with it, but it does not take away from the illustrations or the messages that it shares. I use these for my personal readings. I use them for my client readings, and it's just the illustrations, they speak on so many different levels. Like, there's the Six of Pentacles, and I'll just take a second to talk about this. It's the only illustration I've ever seen that does not show the merchant sharing with people. It shows animals, and that gives a whole new meaning to the Six of Pentacles, the sharing is caring card, as I like to call it, because you can share with others and they don't have to be human. Just be kind to animals. Be compassionate with them. Share something. Like, if you're eating and you see like a dog staring at you, give them something to eat too. Although I will warn you, once you start doing that, they expect it every time, so that might not be the best idea. We've got different illustrations here, and you can see that every single one of them are black and white, but no, that does not take away from the meanings of the cards at all. The illustrations are gorgeous. The texture of the cards is perfect. Like, they are a little bit warped, and that's what makes me think that maybe like this deck was used before, because I got them and they were like this. But again, that does not take away. I've used this deck for many client readings, and as I do know some things that are going on in their lives, as they talk to me and stuff, you can like see that like connection to what they're talking about. And I feel like it really is just such a beautiful deck, and it's definitely something I would assume was like marriage material. It's a deck I will continue to love for the rest of my life. The book itself, like the artist like wrote while she was making this deck, it's fantastic as well. Like, this is made by such a beautifully talented soul. Like, I love it. That chariot you can see there, that's the front of the box too. Have you ever seen a chariot that was like a hot air balloon? It's just such a beautifully done deck. There's so much thought put behind it. It's just, and that's why I love collecting tarot cards. You can see the heart and soul, the passion that went into creating these decks. There's nothing quite like it. Every single deck, while they are the same 78 cards with the same 78 meanings, having 78 different decks gives you 78 different aspects of it. So definitely a deck I would say is marriage material. Marital status, like, I love it. It's beautiful. And I'm not going to commit to one deck. I'm not going to do that, but definitely a deck that I absolutely love and adore. And the last category we have in this hashtag, before we get to the featured deck, is the happily ever after, your true love in a deck. Now, again, I could go through the Deviant Moon, because when it comes to true loves in a deck, it's always going to be the Deviant Moon. That could have even worked for the marriage material, because it's definitely a deck I would marry, because I love the illustrations. But where's the variety? Where's the fun in that? So instead, I will be choosing the Trionfi della Luna Illustrated Pips Edition from Patrick Valencia, the same artist behind the Deviant Moon Tarot. This deck is absolutely awesome, and it is, I really think it is a true love in a deck, because I loved his illustrations for the original Trionfi della Luna decks, but with those, like, the pips were not all that exciting. They were just like, here's 2 coins with flowers around them, here's 3 wands, like, just with blooms coming out of them, so they weren't really intuitive. But then he actually took the time to illustrate the minor arcana and the pips, so it stands as like a Rider-Waite deck. It has the illustrations that you really need. And who wouldn't love this illustration of the 3 of Cups? They're having so much fun. There's even fire coming out of the character's butt. Like, it shows just passion, excitement, enthusiasm, and weirdness at the same time, and that's something that I definitely love and appreciate. It just shows how talented Patrick Valencia truly is. Like, that 7 of Coins, 7 of Pentacles, just how beautiful flowers. Like, we don't usually see flowers and stuff in the Pentacles. We see the green of the bushes and stuff coming to potential, but just she's wowed by how hard her patience has paid off. But every single one of these illustrations, like, I could go on and on about them. This is definitely a deck that we will live happily ever after. I will admit, like, Deviant Moon Tarot, or Deviant Moon Incorporated, they are fantastic at advertising and fantastic at getting you to jump on things. Because as they said, with this deck in particular, and there's some other ones as well, only, I believe 500 decks were created. So if you didn't get those original 500 decks, then you're not getting it. And that's the thing that Deviant Moon does really, really well. That whole, I don't remember the right words, but the FOMO, fear of missing out. Deviant Moon is so good at making you think you're going to miss out on something and purchasing it. I am guilty of doing that myself. They're coming out with an Oracle deck now called the Xammer Twins Oracle, and it's like only so many are going to be made. If you buy it now and get the first edition of it, you're going to get like 5 or 6 extra cards that I've created. It's like, I have to get my hands on this, so I've purchased that as well. It's supposed to come out in April, but Deviant Moon Tarot, I will purchase everything they make, because that is my favorite, like, artist, my favorite, like, group when it comes to tarot cards. That 9 of Coins, like, the color of it and everything, it's breathtaking. I've done this with all the other decks as quickly as I could, so. There is a deck, I believe there's an unboxing video somewhere along my channel that you can probably see the illustrations a little bit better than what I'm doing here, because this is just a quick flip through to show you how much I love it and how much we live happily ever after, because, again, I'm looking at it and remembering how much I love and appreciate it. I don't know if it's still available online or not. If it is, then your best bet is to go to deviantmooninc.com. I'll leave a link in the description below to do so, because there are so many fakes out there. Like, they're smaller, they're not as good quality, and it's not giving in to the artist, like, not showing the artist the appreciation they deserve. So definitely, if you see this deck for, like, really cheap from a, like, weird site from China, don't buy it. That is not the real deck, and you want the real deck. They might have some that are called, like, bump boxes, where you can find like a little bit dense on the boxes themselves, but the cards inside are still good, so that might still be available, but I don't know for sure. I will leave the link in the description below for the deviantmooninc.com website. Type in deviantmooninc.com into your search engine or your web browser, and you can find it there as well. Last but certainly not least, we have, which is really hard to read there, the featured deck. And this isn't like any deck in particular, like a marriage status deck, a deck I love or something like that. It's definitely a deck that I love, but I love all of my tarot decks, even like the Nicoletta Ceccoli, who I say is a little bit too strange for me. I still love it. It's still an awesome deck. This deck, you can't even tell what it is if I put the box itself into the screen, which I keep in a little glass case, and it has Colossus and Sky, my Dumortierite, and clear quartz skulls on top of it to keep it safe and like connect with its energy. And it has this box. I painted the box myself. You can see like the purple there. You can see like it's all on the sides and stuff, and I just put it in this glass case because this deck is so cool, but it doesn't come with the box itself because this is a first edition, so it's very, very rare. I don't know if he has any left of the first edition or not, but I'll leave a link to his page as well in the description below so you can like check it out. But these cards, definitely ones that I'd like to feature. They are the ultimate cryptid deck. If you like Bigfoot and crazy things and stuff like that, it's definitely a deck that I would recommend. See the illustrations there. This deck is by, I know him as his Instagram handle of Dave Zilla, and it's like on Instagram he's Dave Zilla Art, and his art is just, it's incredible. I love the connection to the purple, because purple is my personal favorite color. You can see there's a whole like, the whole suit there that's called Knockers, which is the suit of wands, and it kind of features Bigfoot in every single illustration. And you can see there, Judgment is replaced by the Men in Black, so that connects with like the aliens. Saucers connects with aliens. Ghost Stalker is the Fool. Like, there's so much thought behind this deck, and the illustrations are just incredible. Like, this man has so much talent and is so gifted. I want to say this is him in the deck, but I don't remember correctly. I do think that's him, but if I'm wrong, I'm really sorry, Dave. I'm really sorry if that's not you and I just said that. But definitely a deck that I want to feature in every video I get an opportunity to, because just the illustrations are absolutely fantastic. Like, here we have the tower as the silver bridge. Now this is a real bridge in a real state that really existed. They've replaced it obviously because, well, it fell into the water, but this is in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where the Mothman actually occurred. These people saw it like days before the silver bridge collapsed into the water, so it was like a premonition or a warning that it was going to happen. And so that kind of connects to the whole cryptid energy and shows that you know, like there might be warnings and stuff of things that might occur. But that's definitely a fantastic tower, I believe, because I just love that illustration. I love all of these illustrators, yeah. I love all of these illustrations, and it's definitely just a beautifully done deck. There is nothing like it, and definitely high up in my collection. It's the only one I have that is in a glass case, separated from all the others, sitting on my altar, because I fell in love with this deck when it was on Kickstarter. It didn't get funded on Kickstarter, but that did not stop him from creating it. They want to go everywhere right now. It didn't stop him from creating him. They still had him. He's even got the acknowledgements there of all the people that like helped him do it. But that's just a quick look at the Tarot of the Unexplained. I never even said the name before this, but yes, this is the Tarot of the Unexplained. See like the backs right there and stuff. And the Anukai as the sun, and the Anukai like show it's supposedly like the first beings on Earth, if I remember correctly. So there's so much like knowledge in this deck, and it's nothing like it. So definitely the one that I want to share as my featured deck for the hashtag here. And that actually brings us to the end of it, because featured was the last one on that little look there. So I really appreciate the people that created this hashtag. These hashtags are really fun to do, and it connects me with so many different people, and really connects me with you guys too, even if I don't remember exactly who you are right now. But thank you for creating this hashtag. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to send it or share it, and thank you to everyone who's watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed seeing my answers for this. I really like to see yours too. I don't watch videos all that often, but you know, seeing other people's choices for decks definitely inspires us to get new decks too. So definitely enjoy doing this. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.